Welcome. I certainly hope you're ready for the show because I am.
I am as well.
You are watching. I think this is officially 214 or 213.
216. This is 216. Last week was the filler episode 212 because we missed 212.
Right. Okay.
This is 216.
Alan knows what's going on. Obviously, I don't. I just got off a ferry and I went to the liquor store, and that's as far as my brain has gone. Welcome. We are the Crafty Boys, and of course, what we're going to do is we're going to drink beer in front of you, and we're going to talk about that beer, and hopefully, you'll find it either A, entertaining, or B, informative. If you don't find it either of those things, why are you watching?
Subscribe.
Drink beer with us. Like, I don't. Get out of here. Go home.
Personally, I think infotainment is what we're aiming for.
We're infotainment?
Infotainment.
Okay.
It's the wave of the future with the kids.
If you like to have nipple piercings, USB cables, no. Okay, so hi. The beer this week was chosen by not me. It was chosen by
Dave.
that guy. So Dave, look at my hair. Hair's on. I'm not even ready for the show. Dave, so what is your what is the what
words, man?
Words in. There's tissue paper by his desk.
Puzzler. There we go.
Puzzler, which I just got from the fine folks at the liquor store at Royal Oak Mall.
Cascadia.
No, Liquor Plus.
Liquor Plus.
So let's open this bad boy because I'm ready for a beer today. I have not had beer in a few days. I really require it now. If I don't have it, I'll kill you.
So this is a strong one. This is a 7.3%. Belgian Black IPA from Phillips Brewing here in Victoria.
And they are... Is there any...
This is barrel aged.
Jesus Christ. This puzzle comes with an extra piece. Our original puzzle recipe is aged in freshly emptied bourbon barrels. Midnight roasted malt, Belgian yeast, and American hops are infused with smooth velvet textures. Although it's a little more complex, the last move remains simple. Remove the cap to solve. I want to know, how do they infuse it with smooth velvet textures? Because when I read that, I hear that they took some crushed velvet and soaked it in the beer.
Ew.
I'm sure that's not the case. But maybe, I don't know. Ooh, that's actually quite nice.
I'm going to go on the record here saying I've had a barrel-aged IPA before, and I was not impressed with it. I can't remember who made it, but there was just, a barrel-aged beer, stouts, porters, yes, great. IPAs, I'm not too sure. Now, this is a black IPA, so it's a little bit different, so let's see. I'll reserve judgment.
All right, so take your first sip. I want to hear what you think right off the bat.
Yeah, it ain't doing it for me.
Really? Okay, why not? Why not?
When barrel aging kind of brings out the sweetness in a beer.
Okay.
An IPA is more bitter than sweet. So what I find is I'm getting sort of like the worst of both worlds. What I'm getting here is the sweetness and the bitterness are not complementing each other. It's also almost like they're at odds with each other. And so I'm not getting anything from this. It's sort of like it dulls the bitterness, but the sweetness just isn't there in enough quantities to make it enjoyable. I'll finish it, but I'm not going to go out and buy another one.
That's really awesome. It's like, I don't like this beer very much, but I'm gonna drink it down anyway.
I'm gonna choke it down.
Hold on. Let me. Oh god. Oh wow. That. Okay, hang on. I gotta do that again. I gotta do it without choking myself at the same time.
It's one of the more bitter things I've had in a while.
Well, that's
Is it
definitely
though?
that's the barrel aged part of it. That's the bourbon seeping through a little bit. It's not very strong
No.
when it comes to the barrel or the bourbonation.
But I want to hear what you guys think about this.
I'm trying to find the IPA in here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's dulled.
I mean, it's there a little bit, but I think ultimately it's just being overpowered by the bourbon bourbon leavings.
Right, and you're not getting enough of the sweetness from that to make it worthwhile. It's like
Yeah,
it's like a war
blowing me away.
between. It's like a war right now.
It's like a war?
between bitterness and sweetness, and there isn't the neutral zone is where this beer is.
So basically, you were looking for all-out attack by the Borg, and you didn't get that.
Futile, baby.
The beer is futile. Okay, well, if you were okay, let's what is the problem? So it's marketed as a Belgian IPA. Now, a Belgian IPA is usually a dark IPA, so that we know that. But what is it about that particular beer, or what is it about this particular beer? And in my evaluation, it's the hoppiness, the flavor that I'm looking for in an IPA has been decimated by the barrel aging process.
Sure.
Is that sort of your assessment as well?
Yeah.
So essentially, we don't really have a.
We have a Franken beer.
A Franken beer.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Quite honestly, okay, I could go with that description. Now, of course, the elephant in the room here is, what does Dave think? You're saying so far that you think it's a bitter thing, but
yeah, it's one of the
what
more
other
bitter things I've had. But you know what I'm thinking is that the puzzler appellation is rather apropos for this particular beverage.
Really?
Because we're trying to puzzle out what the fuck this thing is trying to be.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that's part of the danger for these kinds of things, right? Is that we don't necessarily have well, it doesn't actually understand what it's trying to be. Yeah. So,
well, on the bottle, on the face of it, it sounded good, and I got it because
for sure.
Maybe it was gonna be a good one for you guys, but
well, here's the thing.
It's not.
Alan doesn't like it. I don't mind it, but it's definitely not the. It's not what I'm. It's not what I've been going for. Like, it's not something I would normally. I would expect to have more hop, I guess, is really what I'm asking, because that's, to me, when an IPA is at its strongest, you get the flavors of the hops, you get the flavors of hopefully a bunch of different hops, because then you got like the citra ones, which are really kind of citrusy, but then you have the really bitter ones, which I really like when I want to have a bitter beer. But this definitely is not doing that, mainly because they tried something. I mean, is this one of their regular? I don't think this is their regular stuff. This is a limited release, isn't it? So I mean, I want to say that it's not horrible. It's definitely not horrible. It's just, I think we're just losing something that we like, and I think we're a bit bitter about it. So overall, a very good attempt, and I think that I just think that an IPA and the world of IPAs in general don't really go with. I'm trying to think of anything that we had in the advent calendar. Was there anything like this, like an IPA that was bourbon aged or barrel aged? So I don't know. Maybe we're just looking for something that we're not going to get. So
right. Is it score time?
I actually hope that it was going to be smooth by the aging.
Yeah.
That was what I was thinking. I wanted to try it because you guys are the IPA guys, clearly.
Yeah.
And me not being the IPA guy, but being a barrel aged guy, I thought this could be interesting. And I guess it is interesting.
And it is interesting.
I think the consensus is clearly.
I'm glad I'm trying it. No. Okay.
Always good to
So
try stuff.
scores. Dave.
So
You're
basically,
going to rate this thing out of 10.
I think that it is definitely going to be. I'm going to go with.
Oh, are you rating?
I'm rating, yeah.
Okay, hang on. We gotta come up with our ratings in our heads.
Okay, hang on.
Give it.
Pause for a moment while we rate.
Pause for a moment of rating silence. You're freezing like.
Alan has turned into an alien.
Yeah, you guys are frozen
But,
too.
It's more like the truth is coming out.
The truth is coming. Oh, I would like to say that I will give this a. I'll give it a solid 6, somewhere in there. I think a 6 for me is probably where it's going to land. I might want to go a little bit higher to like a 7, but I think ultimately we've got a few odds and ends here that really need to be answered, like maybe more hops or less time in the barrel to kind of balance out the flavors. Because I mean, like, and I've said this before on the show, like I really hate it when these beers try something cool. I mean to correct that. I like it when they try something nice or something cool, even if it doesn't work for my palate. I wouldn't mind if they tried it again, but tried to play with the recipe a little bit, because we tend to find that sort of overpowering here and there. And I think that it would be better if they had a just if something works really well, like Uncle Nutty, like the Uncle Nutty that we always talk about, that actually tastes like peanut butter. That's sort of a perfected recipe. There's nothing that I've actually had that's peanut butter that actually works. So, yeah. So what do you think, Dave? What's your rating for this?
I am giving it a 4.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess it's really down to my expectations. I mean, I was expecting something a little smoother, and this has a bite.
Okay.
That I'm not a huge fan of, and we may have lost Alan.
Alan,
No, I'm here.
Oh,
right.
Can you hear me?
Yep, good to hear.
Can hear you.
Okay.
Froze for a bit. That's all.
So,
okay.
So did you hear my rating, Alan?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I make.
So what's your
for
rating?
Me, I'm going to give it a 3. I really like Phillips. I like what they do. Very innovative. But this one's
for him. But let's keep going. A 3.
Pardon?
Oh, I thought I was being.
That's totally fair. I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. That's totally fair.
Okay.
Totally fair.
So I don't know who's freezing here, if it's me or if it's you guys, because you guys are freezing to me. So
I have no idea. I don't know, but that's okay because we're awesome and we'll deal.
Yeah.
But essentially, the beer overall, I think, is a thumbs up in execution, and a mediocre thumb in the realm of where the taste really lands. But I mean, we're all in agreement that the it's overpowered by the bourboning, and cool. So, what other Have we actually had any sort of thoughts? Have you guys been looking at it?
I'm sorry, I missed part of that. I had any thoughts about what?
Yeah, any beer news? Have you heard anything?
No, there's nothing. In fact, I looked. There's an Nanaimo Beer Week that's coming up. I don't have the exact dates on that, but that's coming up pretty quick. Victoria Beer Week is in March. So there will be events around Victoria during that. But that's about it. I've actually never attended an event at Victoria Beer Week. I might have to remedy that this year. Maybe I'll take Dave.
I think you should. I think it'll be a very cool idea because we are in the process of discovering new beer opportunities. We've gone into the 5-year mission. We've been doing this for almost 5 years now, isn't this right?
It's over 5 years now.
Really? Wow.
We passed our 5-year anniversary.
I keep forgetting that. So, we are embarking on the next 5-year mission to explore strange new beers and seek out new yeasts and hops to boldly go where no beer drinker has gone before. I really had to think about that one.
Yeah.
But overall, I think that, this week I was actually looking a couple days ago for some articles, and it's pretty light on what's going on in the beer world. There's no beer being made by, small children in a back room somewhere. So,
I think what we're kind of in a bit of a down period right now, where we're coming up towards the end of the summer, and we're going to start seeing the spring and summer beers coming out fairly soon. So we're going to start seeing, like some of the IPAs and the hazy IPAs, and maybe there'll be some new innovations for this coming seasons. Who knows? So, I mean, there could be some stuff on the way that could be very interesting for us.
No, I agree. I'm kind of looking forward to. I've already been thinking about the Canadian Beer Fest. Like, I'm looking forward to that this year. Mainly because I'm hoping. I don't actually know what to predict for the style of beer that's going to take over. Recently at Red Truck Brewery, which is a convenient place right across the street, there have been some. They've made some decisions about what they're going to have on their regular list. And they've gone to a dark lager. They have their award-winning, 20-odd year award-winning lager. Now they've made a dark version of that's going to stick around for a while. But I've been running into a lot of beer makers right now that are doing like weird frou-frou-y stuff, which is a bit strange. Like beers that don't really. I mean, I don't mind them experimenting at all, but sometimes I don't want to drink what's on the menu,
I believe that we are going to see this year breweries going back to their roots, making lagers and pilsners, craft lagers and pilsners that taste similar to the beers that our dads used to drink, but is a better quality.
We're going all the way back to extra old stock.
Pretty much.
I just saw somebody buying that at a store the other day.
Oh yeah.
I was concerned for their well-being.
Yeah.
Although I kind of wanted to buy some just to try it because it's one of those beers that I've seen around for a very long time. I remember the label is the stubby bottles that my dad drank back in the day. So, but you think we're going to go back into sort of we're going to reminisce about.
Well, I think we're going to go back to our roots. I think people are tired of the flavored beers and the bitterness and everything, and they just want something to have on a hot summer day while they're mowing the lawn. So lagers and pilsners is, what was everybody had back in those days, and I think it's making a bit of a comeback. Now, having said that, Steamworks makes a lager that is actually really palatable. I really like it. And Company lager from Lighthouse is also very good. So
I just saw that at the store, I think.
yeah,
Because I when I went to the store here, the stock for a lot of their beers was pretty low, but the Lighthouse as well as Off the Rail seem to be everywhere. And another beer I do recommend if you haven't ever had it is the what's it called? Superflux. The material they're working with, and the product that they're actually stitching together really works. They've got some really good stuff too. And they're from Vancouver, I think. At least that's where I know they brewed some bunch of their stuff. Seemed to be one of those sort of small breweries that was renting out space from other places, and they were cranking out the beer in small batches, and with the big canning truck that drives around Vancouver canning beer. Apparently, that's a thing. Who knew? But I think they've actually got their own place now, from what I understand, and I'm seeing it more and more and more. And because usually it was hard to find, because for a 4-pack it was like $20, and I noticed it in the store today for like 17. So I'm hoping the prices are going down because the stuff is totally worth it. But they make some really weird things. Like I've had a coconut beer that I thought I would buy and give you guys cans today, but I thought, I don't know. I'm a little nervous about that.
I saw a coconut porter. Is that what you're talking about? Had a hula girl on the front.
No. This was Superflux coconut. Like that's what it was called.
Oh, okay. Right.
I think it was actually a lager, but I don't know for certain. But there's all kinds of cool stuff coming out. So, but yeah.
So since you're in town, I think one of these days we should go down to Whistle Boy.
Yes, actually, you mentioned that back in December. Yeah. I agree. I fully support this plan.
Sorry, where? How?
And
when?
maybe we'll stream it.
Yeah, so if you are in Victoria, BC, sometime this weekend, and we will go to Whistle Boy and drink beer there, you could come join us and drink beer with us. And you could actually get to know us as real people. Because, when the stream is over, we just power down until next Wednesday. and then Wednesday comes along and we power up, and, that's totally how we live our lives.
Absolutely.
And that's all we are. We just drink beer and then get naked.
Not with each other though.
Yeah, because that's weird. Like that's weird, man. like we're beer drinkers. Beer drinkers don't do that. Like, oh my god, whatever.
God.
On that note, yeah, well, and also, by the way, there is a birthday boy in this particular threesome of ours. So he's turning 12. And I mean, Dave's the oldest; he's 14. But if we go to Whistle Boy, it might be a birthday event. So do come by and tell the guy who doesn't have hair to. Shane said,
you can buy your rocks.
Hey, Alan, I can probably beat some if you want. But anyway, there you go. On that note, Alan,
taller than my hair.
That's true. Take us out.